over some little fool or shrew for the sake of her outward favour, and make yourself miserable for life. When you pick a wife, please remember that I shall reserve the right to pass a candid opinion on her." "Pass all the opinions you like, but it is my opinion, and mine only, which will matter in the long run," retorted Eric. "Confound you, yes, you stubborn offshoot of a stubborn breed," growled David, looking at him affectionately. "I know that, and that is why I'll never feel at ease about you until I see you married to the right sort of girl. 9 out of 10 girls in this country of ours are fit for kings' palaces. But the 10th always has to be reckoned with." "You are as bad as Clever Alice in the fairy tale, who worried over the future of her unborn children," protested Eric. "Clever Alice has been very unjustly laughed at," said David gravely. "We doctors know that. Perhaps she overdid the worrying business a little, but she was perfectly right in principle. If people worried a little more about their unborn children, at least to the extent of providing a proper heritage, physically, mentally, and morally, for them, and then stopped worrying about them after they are born, this world would be a very much pleasanter place to live in, and the human race would make more progress in a generation than it has done in recorded history. Oh, if you are going to mount your dearly beloved hobby of heredity, I am not going to argue with you, David, man. But as for the matter of urging me to hasten and marry me a wife, why don't you—" It was on Eric's lips to say, "Why don't you get married to a girl of the right sort yourself, and set me a good example?" But he checked himself. He knew that there was an old sorrow in David Baker's life which was not to be unduly jarred by the jests even of privileged friendship. He changed his question to, "Why don't you leave this on the knees of the gods where it properly belongs? I thought you were a firm believer in predestination, David." "Well, so I am to a certain extent," said David cautiously. "I believe, as an excellent old aunt of mine used to say, that what is to be will be, and what isn't to be sometimes happens. And it is precisely such unchancy happenings that make the scheme of things go wrong. I dare say you think me an old fogey, Eric, but I know something more of the world than you do, and I believe with Tennyson's Arthur that "there's no more subtle master under heaven than is the maiden passion for a maid." I want to see you safely anchored to the love of some good woman as soon as may be, that's all. I'm rather sorry Miss Campion isn't your lady of the future. I liked her looks, that I did. She is good and strong and true, and has the eyes of a woman who could love in a way that would be worth while. Moreover, she's well born, well bred, and well educated, 3 very indispensable things when it comes to choosing a woman to fill your mother's place, friend of mine. "I agree with you," said Eric carelessly. "I could not marry any woman who did not fulfil those conditions. But as I have said, I am not in love with Agnes Campion, and it wouldn't be of any use if I were. She is as good as engaged to Larry West. You remember West? That thin, leggy fellow you chummed with so much your first 2 years at Queenslee? Yes, what has become of him?" "He had to drop out after his 2nd year for financial reasons. He is working his own way through college, you know. For the past 2 years he has been teaching school in some out-of-the-way place over in Prince Edward Island. He isn't any too well, poor fellow, never was very strong, and has studied remorselessly. I haven't heard from him since February. He said then that he was afraid he wasn't going to be able to stick it out till the end of the school year. I hope Larry won't break down. He is a fine fellow and worthy even of Agnes Campion. Well, here we are. Coming in, David?" "Not this afternoon. Haven't got time. I must mosey up to the North End to see a man who has got a lovely throat. Nobody can find out what is the matter. He has puzzled all the doctors. He has puzzled me, but I'll find out what is wrong with him, if he'll only live long enough." End of Chapter 1.